Good morning. I thought you might be a bit bored, so I pop on here and give you some jobs to do. Excuse my sniffy nose. I've managed to get a cold. I can't even remember the last time I got a cold. And we ended up actually swapping our Christmas dinner over, and we had Boxing Day brunch on Christmas Day, and then I was better yesterday, so then I made the Christmas dinner. But now I think it's Boxing Day, and now I think I've got a day off, and we've got so much to catch up on because we went off gallivanting on holiday. That's probably the reason why I got the cold, the change in the climate. Anyway, that serves me right, doesn't it? So anyway, we have got masses and masses to do. So all this week, I will be flitting between here, sorting out the shop, and the greenhouse. So all I'll do is I'll just take you with me, show you exactly what I'm doing. Then you can have a sneak peek at all the new seeds that are coming for the shop. There's one variety in particular that I actually didn't realise we've managed to secure. I've been asking for it for ages, and I've been on the waiting list for enough supply, and it's finally here. So I cannot wait to show you why I chose that, show you some videos and the photos I've taken of it. So that's coming for the January seed shop. And don't forget, we've got dahlias in March as well. So I've got loads of work to do. But before we do any of that, let's pop down to the greenhouse and do some jobs. It's a bit of a horrible day. So if you don't have a greenhouse you can stand in, then I really recommend that you get one of those little potting trays so you can do a little bit of indoor gardening. I've had mine for so long. I'll go down to the greenhouse and I'll show you it now. Here we are, this is it. So I've had this one for so many years. I think I actually got it when we lived at our last house. That's how long it's lasted. You can get them for as cheap as £7.50, I've noticed on the internet this morning. I think I paid £12 for this, and I can see that all these years later, you can still get them for just £14. So I use this all the time, so it just keeps my greenhouse nice and tidy. And it's got a nice high side. You can use a gravel tray, but then you do risk the compost jumping over the edge. So if you've got a few Christmas pennies, then I really recommend you buy yourself one of these. Little treat. Plants that I've already potted on are the poppies, and then if I just switch this out, we have got the syrinx, and then behind me on the shelf, hopefully you can see, we've got the sweet rocket here, also the clary sage, and some of the snapdragons. I think the next most urgent plants are the cornflowers and the Agrostemma. And don't worry if your greenhouse is starting to get a bit full. We start them off in 40 cell trays so that you have more room for a warmer germination. But as the plants get bigger, if they're hardy, then we can start to harden them off and put them outside. So we bump them up into their 15 cell trays, let them grow for a bit, and then we can start putting them out under cold frames. January time, it depends on the weather. So don't worry that your greenhouse is going to be chock-a-block. We will start moving things out. We're just going to pot them on first because it's too early to sow anything new. It's much too dark. So today I am going to make a start on potting on my cornflowers. So while I get myself ready, I'm going to run a video for you now showing you the different trays that we use for sowing and then potting on our cornflowers. I've got my tape measure out, so I knew you'd be interested in the actual size. So these are approximately 6.5 centimetres square, and they're just over 6.5 centimetres deep. The depth is really important because that allows them to have enough space until we can plant them out. And then where they've just come from, in their 40 cell trays, if I just put the tape measure over it for you there, you can see it's about 3.5 centimetres, and then the depth, well, that's going to be more shallow as well. You can see that's about 4.5 centimetres deep, so they definitely need some more room. And if I finally lean you in with the tape measure against the cells and the size of the plants, you can see that they now need some more room so they can continue to grow strongly until planting out time. You can see clearly just how much extra space this cornflower is going to have in this cell. Now, if you want to, you can put some compost in the bottom. I never do, however, because it'll only get a little bit of root growth from the bottom. Most of the roots will come out from the sides and all around. So this way I can plant it just a tiny touch deeper, and that compost will then give the plant some actual physical support and keep him standing upright. Now you can, if you want to, put them into 9 centimetre pots instead, but they are vastly bigger than the 15 cell tray, so you'll need to be extra careful about your watering. I'm going to use a cell tray because it takes up less room, it keeps all my colours together, and also we do need to get them into the garden before they start getting any height on them. If you put them in a 9cm pot, it will be tempting to leave them there longer than you should. Then they could start to shoot and flower, and at that point they will stop putting on root growth. So 15 cell trays are better for me. But if you want to use 9cm pots, you can see clearly how much room there is. You could even find a smaller pot in your shed if you have one. Information on sowing and growing cornflowers is also included in the handbook, and if you want the tray sizes, especially if you're overseas and you can't get my exact trays, all the sizes are here, so you can just get something that approximately matches the seed trays that I've got. Just make sure that they're deep enough. All the measurements are here, so you can have a little look. If you're in this country, you'll find them in your local garden centre, which is where I've got mine, or a DIY store. And I just had a quick Google and I did notice that Homebase have got all the seed trays I use on buy one, get one free at the moment. So it's perfect time to pop out, weather's horrible anyway, pop out and stock up so you're ready for the grow along, not only now, but for also when we do our late winter sowing and our spring grow along. There we go, last one going in. You'd never believe that they did so well in just a 40 cell tray. And it's probably a good idea to keep them in a 40 cell tray until they reach this side, because it does help prevent you from overwatering them. Cornflowers and Agrostemma can actually look quite similar to each other. So if you've lost your label, I thought I'd just quickly show you the difference. So at the base, the plants are a bit shorter. The leaves are very straight and they've got more leaves around the base area, and you will start to see little shoots a bit lower down, which is different to the cornflowers. You can see that they're much taller. They will start to get irregular shapes to the leaves. You can see that it's starting to begin at the middle here. So they won't be quite as straight as the Agrostemma, especially as we go on. And you can see there's no real shooting at the bottom. So if I put them side by side again for you, and hopefully that helps. You can also see on the Agrostemma that the root system is slightly more dense than that of the cornflower. Look at that lovely foliage. Now, just one last thing with your plants. Once you do pot them on, just remember that there is more compost that doesn't have any roots in it at the moment. We need to pot them on because they need the extra space to grow properly. But you are more at risk of overwatering them accidentally, and cornflowers don't like a soggy bottom. So they should do really well because they'll grow fast and the plants are well established. But just go easy on your watering, especially when it's cold and overcast, because the plants won't get rid of the water quite as quickly as they do on a warm sunny day.